Thank you for joining us, and if you have yet to subscribe to the channel, please do.
Who did this? You know what I'm saying? At first, we was all on top of it. You know, it was a lot of YouTubers who was keeping up with the story, you know, what happened to Zack, trying to figure it out. But T Streets was killed on the same morning as Zack's funeral. And then YouTubers were starting to get blamed for murders. And that's just crazy to me. You know what I mean? I don't care what nobody say. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Why don't it make any sense to you? Why doesn't it make any sense to you? You running your mouth. You're an easily led person running your mouth to easily led people about that y'all don't know about that can get people killed. How is that crazy to you? That a bunch of people telling another bunch of people misinformation and then somebody gets killed over it, but you can't understand that. You can't believe it. That's crazy to me.
But anyway, it seems like everybody started to fall back. You know, like everybody left the situation alone. Me myself, I just moved on as I do with any other story I might be telling.
That's what y'all do. Y'all move on. Y'all accuse and misinform and then move on.
Covering it, and then it's time to move on and help others, or just put other stories out there and talk about it, you know. But this particular story is just, it just amazes me how it went down. You know what I mean? Your best friend, you two are best friends, and then on the day of your funeral, you know, I'm speaking of Zack, on the day of his funeral, T Streets is killed. And it's just like, all I see is rest in peace everywhere, but no one's talking about the video that was made by T Streets. That last video that is talking about the video.
For context, in the 7 days between Zack's death and T Streets' death, T Streets went and got this Zack TV tattoo on his back. And what did people on the internet say? Oh, he did that to make himself not look like the one who set him up.
But no one's talking about the video that was made by T Streets. That last video that his cousin said, these are the guys who killed my cousin, and that's Zack's cousin in the front seat. Wow. I mean, nobody's gonna say anything. I mean, I didn't see.
This is T Streets. Thought I cried out on my tears, bro, but every day I wake up, I can't stop the tears from falling. Just be knowing I'm gonna get a text or call from you saying you're ready for the gym, big dog. All the shit you wanted me to do, I don't think I can no more. All I see is red. I need blood. Facts. Love, bro.
Not one video. And while I can understand why people wouldn't talk about it, because people were blaming YouTubers for the things that were going on, but I still want to know what the hell happened.
What you mean? People were blaming, YouTubers were blaming people for what was going on. What part of this don't you see? This is lack of accountability in its truest form. You just turn it and you flip it and it don't exist. You just said they were blaming YouTubers for what was going on when YouTubers were blaming people in the real world that they were miles away from, that they were safe in their home behind their computer. They were blaming people in the real world for real world situations that had real life implications, and now people are dead.
The fact that his cousin, I'm speaking of T Streets, the fact that T Streets' cousin was able to make a post like that, you know, and be so serious and so sure of what she was saying, I want to know what's going on, you know, with that situation. I've been on.
We'll be looking up that video. The video of T Streets shot in the back of the car. Even if it was Zack's cousin, even if it was whoever it was, if T Streets didn't die over something that he had brewing already on his own, and he died because the internet was telling the streets, he could have been the one that set up Zack. And he died over that. Yeah, man. Y'all culpable in that. I'm sure there's people that would disagree with me. But y'all just run to the internet, no research, no nothing.
On her page, you know, I also gave you guys a video of the funeral, T Street's funeral.
So, Zack died May 30th. This is June 9th at 2:24 a.m. This is T Street's last tweet. Who can I trust?
She didn't mention anything else as far as who did what. But that one particular post just stands out in my mind. Like,
the ones that should stand out in your mind are the ones where you and the rest of the people that were accusing T Streets of being the setup man, with y'all opinions that y'all turned into facts on the internet. It's the same thing now. Listen to Clubhouse. Get on Clubhouse. You hear 100 detectives figuring it all out. Like, what do you know about the situation? You on the phone on Clubhouse.
how sure she was about it, you know?
This is different from me reacting to a case like the Flores twins case where that thing was huge and it happened. You know, they're making podcasts and movie and TV about it. You know what I'm saying? You people were implicating people that were in the real world. For 7 days, T Streets had an answer to the internet. Who's the internet? Here we are, 2023, and I've heard nobody in all of these years say definitively T Streets was responsible for the murder of Zack TV. Now you guys backtrack, you Homer Simpson into the bushes, and you say, oh, well, he was the intended person for it. It was for him. So inadvertently, he killed Zack. Get the f*** out of here. You're tweaking. Now you're taking the accountability, the lack of accountability, and now you're just sculpting it however you want to sculpt it. And then you wrong there too. Or according to AMG Bell D, it had nothing to do with T Streets. It was about AMG Fresh. And Zack was trying to save AMG Fresh. Get him out of there. And according to him, it wasn't nothing that AMG Fresh, like he ain't had nothing that followed him there. It was just somebody chose him that night to not like. So y'all were wrong. Now you're like, oh, well, he was the intended target. No, he wasn't the intended target. And more information is coming out now. Because there was 5 guys that they implicated in this murder. None of them were T Streets. What are we talking about here? We're talking about 2 dead best friends. For what? Because you bored motherfuckers want to tell stories.
Like, she really just was like, you know, these are the guys that killed my cousin. These are the last 2 guys he was seen with before he was found dead. You know, that's just, wow. You know, like, who are they? I really want to know who they are. Like, who are these guys? Like, okay, these are the guys who are last seen with T Streets. The last 3 guys. And no, I am not saying they are the ones who...
That's T Streets. Hours before he was murdered and left in the street in the rain.
Who did something to T Streets. His cousin actually said, these are the guys who murdered my cousin. So I just wanted to try to slow it down and get a better look at them to see if anyone knows who they are. Now, mind you, this is just what I do. I just want to know who did what and why. Like, get to the bottom of it.
But you done picked 4 or 5 people already.
Everyone has let it go. And these 2 young men are gone now. And it's just like, rest in peace, that's all? Really? So they get to kill again? They just... it's just messed up, y'all. So anyway...
They say, oh, Zack promoted a party that night. Zack did not promote a party that night. It was this guy, Chicago Dave, that promoted the party that night. Zack was there to promote AMG Fresh. He called in to Dave. We'll get to that video too. He called in to Dave to get a favor and to get AMG Fresh on the set, on the show.
Week in Chicago, man. It's like me and Zack, man, we really was trying to help the artists in Chicago and change the game and do all the, you know, that they say that we couldn't do. But I never thought that it'd take my man life.
This right here was the last post that Zack put up on social media. Everyone was talking about Drake and Pusha T, you know, battling. And he was saying that Drake better respond because Pusha T went too far, you know. And people started saying that Drake was the reason for Zack's death and saying that he sacrificed him, you know.
See what I'm saying? It's the same goofy that they did with the Triple Extentacion trial. That the lawyer went in there and try to use his beef with Drake to create chaos and to turn that courtroom into a circus. You guys go to path of least resistance. The first thought that comes to, oh, well, his last tweet was, rest in peace, Drake. Forget the context of it. Forget that, oh, Pusha T and him were beefing. Pusha T dropped the story of Adidon, destroyed him. Jay Prince was selling his book, so he decided to get in the middle of it and stop it before Drake could respond. That was the point of that text. What did the dummies do? Man, maybe Drake got him smoked. You don't watch his mouth. Hashtag rest in peace, Aubrey Drake Graham. Stop it. You keep proving me right. Every video that I click on, you're proving me right. So I got reservations on even playing this clip at all. But I want to give you an example of the type of loose-lippedness that we're dealing with on the internet, where you guys go on there after something happened and you throw your theories and whatever the first thought that comes to your head and you throw it out there and you cause confusion. And you can get people, innocent people, killed like that. So this is the guy, from what I found in the comment section. He's from Texas. And he's the one that's saying that FBG Duck put a bag on T Street's head for setting up Zack TV. I don't buy none of it. Stay off the internet with your theories. You're not that bright.
People didn't know that LBG Duck sent 2 dudes to go kill T Streets. Y'all remember T Streets? T Streets is the dude that they said set up Zack TV. T Streets died the exactly same day they buried Zack TV.
Now, let's not forget that there was a YouTube dude named Straight Drop that was pushing the narrative that T Street set up Zack TV, just reinforcing it on a regular basis. I can't find none of that information now. Evidently, it's been scrubbed from the internet, unfortunately, because he gets to back up into the bush too. Because I still ain't seen nobody show a shred of evidence that says T Street set up his friend. A lot of people say what they're gonna do when the bullets flying. You don't know what you're gonna do to the bullets flying.
Now, did he set them up? I don't think so. But you gotta understand, maybe Doug knew something we didn't know. Cause I ain't want to get Duck in trouble and shit. But since he gone now or whatever, then that's why I feel like I can say that shit now.
Everybody in the habit of ratting on dead people lately.
He said the other person's name because he's still alive. They left him dead or whatever on the sidewalk and shit.
Now that is the only thing that I've heard that's consistent with the rest of the story. That T Streets was left in the street. And I remember that from when it happened.
I just feel like as far as like T Streets, I feel like he an urban legend because nobody talk about him no more.
He's right. Nobody says nothing about him, good or bad. Nobody talks about how he might have died for nothing. Like if he didn't die because of something that he had brewing on his own on the side, and it was all because the internet decided to say that he had something to do with Zack TV being set up, and the streets ate him over that, shame on y'all, man. You might as well take a gun and get out there yourself.
Nobody talk about T Streets no more. Nobody. Like, I'm talking about, you never hear nobody saying R.I.P. to T Streets or whatever. And like I say in the comments, just tell me, I'll redo the video, but I gotta do my research.
Don't ever do a video again. We don't want to see no more videos from you, bro. That goofball in that video is the perfect representation and embodiment of what the internet looks like when they're out there talking about things they have no clue about, pushing narratives that can get innocent people hurt, and they fancy themselves a detective or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, just stupid face.
Now, I want y'all to listen to the enhanced audio. Now, I can't make out everything that's being said, but I do hear talking about let's go, as in let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, common sense would tell you that that's what you heard. Everything else sounded like, but common sense would tell you heard let's go. And after a shooting, whether they're the shooters or the surviving victims, let's go would be a priority on the list, wouldn't it? That seems obvious, doesn't it?
All out here. I think it was a girl with him because I thought I could hear a girl. You know.
Yeah, now we know there was a girl with him for sure. We know who she was too. Y'all didn't know it then. Y'all spoke on it like you knew it, but you didn't know it then.
I mean, maybe crying. But then, yeah, you see all these surrounding this car. The one dude in the red runs up to the car. Remember, he had the car for a minute. He runs back to the other car, and they all pull the off in one car. Let me show y'all this news article that I found. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to y'all, but I am going to read the portion that I feel like stuck out to me. Inside a nearby bar, Danny Friedman, and yeah, I'm going to say his motherfucking name because it's in the paper. If they can print it, I can say it. It is what it is. But it says, Danny Friedman saw 3 cars converge on Clark, which was otherwise empty. People exited the cars and looked like they may fight.
What does that look like? They look like they may fight. Because evidently Zack was inside his car when he died. What does that look like? Who's Danny Friedman? Did he just see a bunch of black guys maybe jump out of AMG Fresh car and get into Zack's car? Or maybe jump out of Zack's car and get into AMG Fresh car? And he just seen a bunch of black dudes back and forth in between cars, and that just looked like a fight to him, look aggressive. I don't know. I don't know who Danny Friedman is. I don't know where this quote came from. She didn't say where it came from. She didn't give you a resource. She didn't tell you who wrote this story. She said Danny Friedman. Who's Danny Friedman? Did Danny Friedman exist? Did he really say this?
Uneasy, the bar manager said he turned back to tend to his 5 or 6 regulars still in the bar when he heard gunshots. Friedman ran to the door, put the deadbolt on, and my dropped to the floor. He said he saw a man walking by holding a handgun. Okay, so it's a couple things that bothered me.
I don't think none of that's true. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll know by the end of this series if I'm wrong or not, but I don't think none of that's true.
About this. First off, I don't know why that name Danny Friedman stuck out to me, y'all. I don't even know. And I ain't trying to make it, trying to connect this shit to the Kanika Jenkins case.
Yes, you are. You're always trying to connect it to something. It's somebody just like you that was on the phone calling Zack, telling Zack, you got to stop covering the Kanika Jenkins case. I did my research and this, and it's all. It's a shame, man. It's a shame.
But that name just stood out to me. He said he saw 3 cars converge on Clark. Converge, that means like met up, united, just. They out there together. Okay? And they're on a street that is normally empty. And in my mind, he's saying there's little traffic on that street. Okay? Then he says that he saw people get out the car and look like they might fight. So y'all know how to do. Y'all can imagine what the f***'s going on here. Motherfuckers and got out on some rah-rah shit. And I mean, maybe some words were exchanged.
Maybe.
Okay? Because timing is everything. I done told y'all. Timing is everything. But after he said he saw these people get out and look like they was about to fight.
So these guys that was outside about to fight, and by the time he turned around in the bar, Zack, that was outside of his car, supposedly looking like he was supposed to fight, got back in his car, got gunned down, his car moved and crashed. All of that happened in the time it took for him to turn around at the bar.
He said he heard gunshots. So, in my mind, words were exchanged, and then there were gunshots. Now, we didn't got this video of these running around the car, the dude in the red running up on the car, and he had the car for a minute. We like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, I remember people saying in comments saying like, well, damn, like maybe they was going in his pockets. Like maybe, was he that type of nigga that walked around with bands? I mean, was the motive to rob him? Okay. Now he said after all of this, he saw a man walk by holding a handgun.
Stop it.
Now, y'all, I don't know what just happened here. I don't know what just happened here, but in my mind, meta equals setup. Y'all got him in an area where
She's real creative, y'all. Meta equals setup.
there's little traffic. It's 2 cars, and then everybody jump in one car and drive off. Okay? And you got time in between these guys getting out the car and gunshots. So, yeah, I want to know what y'all think about this shit, man. Put that shit in the comments. Is this something we can believe? I mean, because like I said, in my mind, met up equals setup. And I pray to God that they find out who did this to him. Apparently, I think his mother already knows. I mean, she on Facebook like she know who did this. But, yeah, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Was this a setup?
Again, everyone's first thought is going to be it has something to do with his job. It has something to do with what he does. At the end of the day, even a police investigation ain't supposed to stop at that. You keep going, you keep looking, you keep asking questions. Opinion became fact online. People died over it. Thank you for joining us, and if you have yet to subscribe to the channel, please do. Peace.